Hey guys, Jim Setzer with Images by Design, and today's video is going to be a little bit different than my usual. I just wanted to have this kind of stream of consciousness chat about what we, Images by Design, are doing in this age of social distancing. We are here in America, we're in the beginning the second week of our social distancing campaign where everybody's now working from home best we can. Schools have been canceled through the end of the school year by the governor, so kids are back at home, and parents are scrambling for daycare and other things so that they can continue to operate. It's impacted us like any other photographer. All of the events that we had scheduled have either been canceled or postponed through the spring, and so that's opened up our calendar certainly, but of course that's put also a crimp on our cash flow. So just like everybody else, we've had to pivot a little bit to address where we are in this age, keep some pennies coming in the door best we can, and just keep the doors open, and more importantly, kind of support people in our community if and wherever possible. A lot of events have been canceled, like Slow Art Day, which is an event I always hosted for a local art museum. I'm really bummed about that. I'm trying to work with them on figuring out how to do some kind of virtual thing there. Like I said, the usual stuff is just not coming in. Nobody's booking any studio work, portraiture or boudoir. Any of that stuff is happening right now. So we're not spending a lot of time in the studio other than going there to swap out gear and moving back and forth. So here's a handful of things that we're doing here at Images by Design to kind of change things around. Again, the word everybody's using is pivot, to address the world we live in these weeks. Hopefully this will be over soon, and we'll begin to get back to normal. But in the meantime, one of the things that everybody's doing, and I'm on a bunch of these calls every week, is relying on teleconferencing tools like Zoom and Skype and FaceTime and Cisco, and you name the portal, and changing everything from in-face meetings to these virtual meetings. So I've been helping a lot of small businesses get their telepresence looking a little bit better. So people aren't in shadow, people aren't being upshot. There's helping them with lighting, helping them with framing, helping them with all these other things to get that look a little bit better. Because I think hopefully we are getting back to normal shortly, but because so many people are now being exposed to these teleconferencing tools, that perhaps teleconferencing becomes a more used method of communication where it's deemed appropriate. So I think having a persistent telepresence space in your home office or your office or wherever it is you do your work is going to be an more important thing moving forward than it has in the past. Training. I usually have a lot of classes in the winter and the spring before the weather turns warm, and those are usually book up pretty well, but as you might imagine, I can't, even if I wanted to, have an in-studio class right now. So this morning I've rewired all of my training classes to become virtual. So I'm going to use tools like Zoom and Skype and be able to hold my classes with my students virtually. We'll have to see how that all works out. But so I got those back up online, and I'm promoting those right as we speak, and let's see how that all works out. You just never know. And so I'm just adjusting to other parts of my business to ramp that up a little bit. I'm advertising for my product photography work a little bit more. I do a little bit of video editing for some third parties, and some photo editing for a couple of photographers that they just overwhelmed. And so I think I'm going to, because I've got the time, I'm going to just reach out to them and ramp that up. Now, of course, if it's a wedding photographer, they don't have the pictures that need to be edited right now anyway. So I'm not sure where that's all going to go. But yeah, you never know. I have, although, just kind of, because traffic is low and nobody's out in parks and things, we're still allowed in my area to go out. Just keep it under, parties of 10 and, 10-foot separation and all the social distancing recommendations, wash your hands every 2 seconds. Anyway, to be able to go out and get some interesting photography that otherwise wouldn't be all that great because there's too many people there. For instance, right now we're getting into cherry blossom season, and usually the parks around here that have cherry blossoms are just packed full of people. And so getting out there and getting some shots without a ton of people, I think is gonna be a good thing to do. I'm gonna head out tomorrow and see how that works. I'm also reaching out to a lot of the small businesses that have a brick and mortar presence, some kind of showroom, and nobody's going to their showroom these days, so they're not seeing the new products or the whatever. And so I've gotten a couple of gigs to do virtual showroom tours where I'm literally flying a camera, flying either on a gimbal or sometimes on a drone in some of these bigger places through the showroom to kind of show off what they have, and people can buy the stuff online. And so the point of I guess all this is just to say, hey, we live in interesting times. If you are a photographer and you are suffering, I can't imagine any photographer that isn't to some extent suffering right now for lack of work, that you just kind of think outside the box and look around you and see what it is you could also do to be able to help your photography business stay afloat. While real estate's been impacted, agents are still out there selling, and so creating walkthrough videos for real estate has been, I guess it's picked up a little bit. It probably pick up more if this continues to go on much further, because the folks that normally wouldn't buy a walkthrough video for a property are when they see the traffic going down because nobody wants to go out and see the places in person, or maybe the homeowner still lives there and they don't want any strangers in their homes. It might be great to have a virtual walkthrough for those circumstances where an in-person tour would not be practical or possible. So anyway, I'm going to leave that there. This is again just my couple of thoughts that I'm doing to stay alive in these interesting times. I would love to hear what sort of interesting and innovative things that you are doing in your photography to pivot in the days of social distancing, and tell us how you're doing. If you're struggling, I feel your pain. I really, truly do, and we'll get through all this. Hopefully, it won't last too tremendously long, and then I hope that at the outside of this, photography will go booming, because people were going to want to get new portraiture done. They're going to want to go outside. They're going to want to gather, and they're going to want to hire us to capture all those beautiful moments. So that's it for me today. For Images by Design, I'm Jim Setzer. Have a fantastic day.